Hi, this is Jason Major from Sweaty Heroes with another episode of Sweaty Hero Bargains. And I'm in my bedroom here. And here are some 3 for $1 comics I found at the local comic store that are not Marvel and not DC. So that's the key here. As I said, these are probably going to be a lot of titles, some of them Image titles, some of them you never heard of. We got Altered Image, which was a crossover with all the Image heroes of the time, um, including Shadowhawk, Savage Dragon, Majestic, Spawn, and others. The Max is in there, and Witchblade. Atomic Angels from Crusade Comics. Bad Rock, not Bedrock, which was his first appearance character name from Rob Liefeld's studio. Backlash, which is a mercenary character by Wildstorm in the vein of, I guess, Deadpool. Early Deadpool, at least, before he became this third wall breaker that I don't care for. I actually only interested in original Deadpool. Bloodshot by Valiant. Harris Comics, Kane #1, obscure publisher. This is Dart from Eric Larson's studios. Dart was part of the Savage Dragon series. These I put in order for a moment, even though they're not in the order of their name. Their order of the crossover, which is called Death Watch. It's from Continuity Comics. Continuity Comics was published by Neil Adams, and so you can see a lot of Neil Adams' art style in the comics, even when he is not the one who does them. You can see even that as a background with that. So like a lot of these. Neil Adam either did inks or some pencils or some plots, but he has like a house style that he had for his line, which made kind of sense. But I find these kind of fun little finds because these are characters you never heard of before, and it was a noble attempt to create new superheroes, his own superheroes. So I think that's kind of cool. So all these are your Death Watch 2000, and characters like Megalith and Earth 4 and hybrids and what was it, Miss Majestic, Miss Mystic. You know what I mean? A lot of interesting stuff. Valiant the Destroyer. Again, with some of these Image titles, you never know. Maybe they'll become series. So DV8, which DV8. This looks like a Fantastic Four riff. Elementals. You've got Dark Horse, the Endgame. X Mutants by Malibu Comics. Which is kind of funny because, obviously X-Men, mutants, but somehow they got away with it because it was the 90s. Extreme Sacrifice from Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios. Michael Turner, Fathom. Looks very much, reminds me, because it's, if I remember right, Fathom had a lot to do with the water. Kind of reminds me as like a cross between like Witchblade and Aquaman or Avatar or something. You know what I mean? Well, probably closer to Aquaman, but Fight Club, which I think is based on the movie. These are the Fighting American titles. Fighting American, that's Fighting American, actually. That's not how he looks. It's just a little kid version of it, of how he looks. That is how he looks. So this is Ed McGuinness art on a character who, is basically Captain America. But to be honest, that's was real because Joe Simon and Jack Kirby actually created Fighting American to be their own character after they left the Captain America title. First Adventures, so this is going to have some weird, obscure stories that you never heard of. Some kind of in the superhero vein. That's not King Shark. This is Freak Force, which is another Eric Larson title. Fish Police, which was once considered for an adult animated series in the vein of like The Simpsons or something, or these are adult series. So I can see that happening eventually. Glory, again from Image Studios, which is his version of Wonder Woman. Harbinger is from Acclaim Comics. The Ultraverse was published by Malibu Comics, and it was a noble attempt at creating their own universe, even though it only lasted for 2 or 3 years. Probably would have been more successful if Marvel hadn't bought them out. They might have lasted a little bit longer. But I thought they were a noble attempt anyways. Kaboom. That's by Jeff Loeb wrote that. So that's cool. Magnus was a Golden Key hero that Valiant used to create their own universe. That's a silver foil cover. Back in the 90s, a lot of these were really hot. Now you can find them in 3 for $1 bin. I find them to be fun reads. One of the comic shops I went to said they're not even worth 33 cents. So they might be even in the 10-cent bin. So probably I would recommend not paying any more than cover price for these comic books because they're so easy to find at this point. Another Malibu Comics, Man of War. Eclipse Comics, NA DNA Agent. New Men by Image. It says Extreme Sacrifice, so I'm going to say this is a Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios still. Nexus, which was a popular character by First Comics. Steve Rude, yeah. Mike Barron, writer. Steve Rude, artist. I'm Canadian, so I had to pick this up. Northgard. It's in black and white, darn it. Power 3 from Dark Horse. This is kind of cool. It's an issue of Protectors by Malibu Comics, and there is a bullet hole through the middle. I mean, it's an interesting gimmick. It makes it difficult for the artist, I think, in terms of trying to incorporate it into the story, because it's not really incorporated into the story for most of it. So you just have a hole in the middle of the comic. But hey, you know what? For a 90s gimmick cover, I give him credit for trying. Quantum and Woody from Valiant, Acclaim Comics. More Ultraverse. So this is called Rune. Barry Windsor Smith did some of the early ones. These are not by him. They're by Javier Salters, who is a Marvel artist who had done a lot of stuff with Ghost Rider, I believe. Another Continuity Comics, but from the 80s, Sam Marie. And again, you can see that's kind of like Neil Adams art style. So, oh wait, I'll open this up so we have time here. We have The Seeker. Joe Seeker. Never heard of it. PC Comics, Silver Heels, but like that's kind of a cool cover. I like that Flash Gordon type of cover. Stargate, with some just photo covers of them standing around. I never like photo covers of them just standing around, but they're good probably for if you ever wanted to go to a con and get them autographed. Some more Stargate. Secret Weapons by Valiant. Strangers by Malibu. You can't get much more obscure to me than The Suit by Virtual Comics, but the writers, the guy who wrote Chai Chester, I think his name is, wrote for Daredevil. I enjoyed the first issue, actually. I thought it was kind of fun in a 90s Marvel sort of way. Try by Stroman and Johnson. Here's another. These were black creators, or African American creators, whichever you prefer. Who knows? Maybe Try will be picked up one day. I have 2 copies of Ultra Force by Malibu. This was Marvel published Malibu Comics and kind of run it to the ground very quickly. And here's another Ultra Force. Velocity is from Mark Silvestri's Cyberforce characters. Again, Cyberforce I can see eventually becoming something. Wetworks was from Will's Portatio Studio. Issue of Witchblade. People forget there was a Witchblade series. TV series, I mean. Exo Manowar is probably one of the more recognizable Valiant characters who might get a movie or something. And then we have, to top it off, to end it off, we have Youngblood by Rob Liefeld, which I'm shocked that someone hasn't bought Liefeld's studio. I think there's some legal issues because of that, but you really would think that by this point they would have, because of the fact that there's just so much potential to just do whatever you want with them. All right, that's enough for today. Those are all 3 for $1. Let me know in the comments below, what out of those comic books, which ones would you buy for $3? Which ones would you say, you know what? Not even at 3 for $1. I would pass. I'd take a pass. Which ones would you pay cover price for? And let me know also which ones you think that could become movies or streaming series, and you think are worth looking at as future spectation. But I would say this: always enjoy your comics. Don't buy them because you're speculating they might go up into $1,000 because of a movie coming out. Buy them because you want to enjoy them and have fun. If you are buying because you have a movie coming out, buy them because you want to read those titles before they become high-priced comic books. But always read your comics first. This is Jason Major signing off.